So what you actually feel is going on below the level of other people's consciousness. So you can feel, as I said earlier, the undertones. You can feel the energy that runs underneath stuff. You will not absorb what's on the top layer. You are always looking for the underlayer. Okay. Now you're all involved in Reiki, so even more so, you're heightening that perception all the time, which is you're heightening your perception of linking with consciousness. Okay, does that make sense? So this is just, as I say, something that some of you may connect with. So often for a child, as a burden-bearing sensitive, in your early life, you may have experienced rejection at some level or another for your sensitivity. It may have been amongst your family unit, or it may even have been amongst your peers. Okay. A big thing for intuitive sensitives is this fear of mockery at some level or another, or fear of humiliation. So a lot of therapists, as an example, won't properly go in to their skills and their work, their purpose as far as that's concerned, because if you question them enough, they'll come down to this fear of humiliation. And that fear of humiliation will have a foundation in early life. Okay? You will also have had at some level a feeling of being dismissed for your sensitivity. So the things that you've felt or connected with, or if you've had an experience that's been spiritual or psychic, that will have at some level been dismissed, especially in early life. Okay? It's much more accepted now. But, you know, take it back 20, 30, 40 years, it's some, don't touch these kind of things. It's all in your imagination. So all of those things, what happens is that they lead to a place within where there is a shutting down. Okay, so there is a shutting down of a connection between your intuitive self and your emotions. Okay, it's a self-protection mechanism. What you're doing as far as your connection with Reiki is concerned, and definitely what happens as far as yoga is concerned, you are your consciousness is starting to connect enough to open that back up again. Okay, it needs the energy flow. It can't stagnate. It actually needs the energy flow to be able to do that. So there are two reactions to high sensitivity. So one is to follow the intuitive directive to help make things better. So your key thing that you want to do in life is to make things better. So it's to solve things for people. You want to help others, all of that. Okay. The other is that you throw yourself into fixing, or whomever or whatever you see as needing fixing. Okay, we've all been through that, and we've all got the no, go away, I don't want fixing, or you've been, but I'm only trying to help, and you can see what's going to occur if they don't accept that help, and you're trying to save them from it, fix them, and then you end up getting bruised because you get a kickback. Okay, because they can't feel that at a deeper level. So then what tends to happen, so it's either that or you go through both of these, which is it's either that you want to help, you want to fix, or you go through that phase of feeling that you want to withdraw because there's too much pain. Okay. So what happens is in trying to fix things, you've gone through back into the rejection, so the core early rejection, and feel that that's futile, so you're not going to do it because no one seems to want to respond to that. So you go into the withdrawal and you remove yourself from the thing that causes pain, which is people. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. But in actual fact, you're extremely social beings. Sensitives are extremely social. They're very connected. Okay, so it feels contradictory. So making things better no matter what, so trying to fix things and solve things, and no matter what, this is what it leads to. It leads to an undisciplined compassion. Okay, I'm going to go into what that means. An undisciplined compassion to a sensitive is quite dangerous. It'll start eroding your system. Okay, does that make sense? So to give you an idea, and I'm telling you not to frighten you, I'm just telling you that this is part of your cycle. I blew up my system years ago. Okay, mine is well and truly busted. I have, autoimmune diseases. I've got scleroderma. I've got, I go in and out diabetes. I have no endocrine function. It's all done artificially. And I have Hashimoto's as well. So I've done quite well. So over a period of time, undisciplined compassion can have a huge impact on your system. Okay? What happens is it lacks a strength and a wisdom or a direction. So you have to build the foundations, and you have to build the foundations from the internal world out rather than from the outside in. Okay? What happens is over a period of time, the undisciplined compassion results in your system burning out. And I just gave you examples of how mine broke. So for a lot of sensitives, again, this is where a lot will go through the fatigue cycles. Okay, who's got any autoimmune issues? Can't believe you haven't. Yeah, a few of you will. Yeah, foods are, foods, bloating, all of that is autoimmune. It's the beginning of autoimmune issues, which are, that is too high a cortisol. So cortisol is your stress hormone. So the bloating, and that's the primary area it's going to go to. So cortisol will put on weight around the middle. So you can blame it on that. Okay, not on the cakes. But also, a lot of sensitives are very drawn towards sugar, because guess what? Sugar helps to even out cortisol levels. So a chocolate, prime example of that, chocolate, I find that people who are very connected as far as chocolate are concerned have had some aspect of early life criticism, and it's their inner rebellion to eat the chocolate because it builds the serotonin levels. I do, just very quickly, I do this thing called mind and body, and I do this with a medic. So she does the body part, and I do the psychological part. And what I make people do within this is look at the things that they are very connected to. So, and you can really, really bring out their fury by making them sit and look at a cake and let them go through the emotions connected to it. And what I've seen is people who've gone through nurturing issues, very drawn towards cake. Those who are quite nostalgic, biscuits. Criticism is chocolate. And crisps is normally that it's abandonment stuff, because when they were kids, they were left in the car with a packet of crisps and a bottle of Coke. Okay? So as soon as they feel inner abandonment, they go for the crisps. Everything as far as the internal, everything as far as this high sensitive is concerned is very, very geared towards the internal world. Okay, you don't generally have things that are very tied to the physicality. So the body doesn't necessarily get addicted to things. It's the emotions. Okay, and it's the high cortisol levels. I lowered my cortisol levels and lost 4 stone by simply doing that and eating full fat. You think, oh, how I'm eating, yeah, cakes, biscuits and all that, love butter. Obviously not in bucket loads. But I lost 4 stone by working along the lines of the cortisol levels. Okay, it's a very powerful thing in a sensitive system. That's why dieting for a sensitive doesn't work, because it triggers the guilt, raises the cortisol. Okay. So, when things have begun to move forward, so obviously everyone in here, you're going through the cycles of moving forward, you're already very self-aware. You have a level of awareness that's over and above someone just starting out. Okay, I can feel, for instance, that a lot of you do a lot of work because you've already got quiet minds. Your heads aren't bzz. Normally when I walk into an environment, the heads are going bzz. Okay. So I'm going to power on because I haven't got long, have I? Okay, well, I haven't even got there yet. So I better move it on. Okay, so these are some of the things that you want to do, or that you have absolutely found yourself in, which is that you want to move on from things that have been damaging. Okay, so you will have found that you've moved on from certain friendships, environments. You've moved on from accepting compromise. Okay, so you like authentic friendships, connections. You can't be bothered with surface stuff. You've got fed up with that. You've done all that. You're not interested. You've had enough of repeating patterns and scenarios. You've worked through those. You've probably worked through a lot of your own, and now you want to help others move through theirs. And you want to experience a deeper level of consciousness. Okay, so at the stage that you're at, you'll be looking for something deeper. Does that make sense? You're looking for something that's got this a deep aspect of connection. That stack of books by the side of your bed never seems to go down. There's always something that you're adding to it, and you rarely finish one of them. Okay, that is who you are as an intuitive sensitive, and that's how you'll continue. Okay, who's got a stack of books? Yeah. And Kindle's not enough. And you know why? Because you've got to get the feel of it. And you also need to do the highlighting thing. Okay? And that's not going to happen on Kindle. So you'll read the things on Kindle that don't really matter to you. And anything that matters to you, you have to have the hard copy. Okay? See, I know you. So the journey to profound development, so you've already gone through the opening stages. So you've gone through the opening stages. Otherwise you wouldn't have been interested in Reiki, for starters. So you've gone through the opening stages of, so these are some of them. Okay, some of them are knowing who's on the phone before you picked it up, obviously not caller ID. You've had a feeling about someone, and then they phoned you, you've bumped into someone you haven't seen in years, just as the point of you thinking about them. You seem to have an instinct for things, you're in the right place at the right time, coincidence seems to be really quite handy as far as you're concerned. Things tend to line up for you, and there's quite a strong feeling of what's meant to be. Okay, so those are the earlier opening stages. You may have started to go through the emotional components, but if you haven't yet, sorry, you're going to go through it at some point, which is it's the energies of the lower vibrations cannot stay in your system. They have to find their way out. So that is sometimes reflected in your external world by people being a right pain in the backside. And you think, what the hell have I done to deserve this? what have I done to attract this? And why are they barking at me like some mad person? It's because it's connected as far as the internal stuff, as far as your energy is concerned, that's leaving your system for the higher vibrations to become part of it. You have to have a clear out. Okay, the old things that literally rot in the bottom of your fridge have rotted, so to speak, in the bottom of your internal fridge, and it literally is the stage now where you're finding some old manky lettuce, and it's time for it to go because it's stinking. And for you to notice, some of these things have to be exaggerated in the external world. Okay, so some sensitives go through periods of depression, so you may feel that there are associations with depression symptoms for a period of time. Okay, they don't last forever. It doesn't mean to say that you are someone who's a depressive type. It means that you go through these cycles. Okay, does that make sense? Why? Well, if you don't go through these things, how the hell are you going to understand other people? If your purpose in life is to connect with others, help them, work with them, how the hell are you going to do that if you haven't had an understanding of that in your own body? Okay, so a lot of these things, you're taken through these experiences in order for you to understand other people, and also to be able to read their energy at that kind of level. Okay, it's not punishment. You think, what have I done? Have I been really bad in a past life or something? No, it's about raising vibration. Okay, now what we're coming into is a time of much higher vibration. What's happened in the Western world is we've moved beyond the survival